Rahim Khan said the British was that they had evidence that trespasser and Sans and Fasara murders were the miniature case of self-defense. No one said a word about it. So much it was fear of the Taliban, I think, but no one was going to risk anything for a pair of Hazara servants. What did they do with Sorab? I asked. I felt tired, drained, cow, and ripped together Rahim Khan. I went to this for a long time. When he finally looked up, his face, he was flushed and his eyes bloodshot. I heard he's on an orphanage somewhere in Kari Khaseh, Amirjan. Then was coughing again. When he stopped, he looked older than when a few moments before. Then he was aging with each coughing fit. Amirjan, I summoned you here because I wanted you to see before I die. But that's not all. I said nothing. I think I already knew what I was going to say. I wanted to go to Kabul. I wanted to bring Sorab here, he said, struggling to find the right words. I barely had time to deal with the fact Hassan was dead. Please hear me. I know an American pair of here in Peshawar, and a husband and a wife named Thomas and Betty Calwo. They are Christians, and they run a small charity organization that they manage with private donations. Mostly they house and feed Afghan children who have lost their parents. They have seen the place. It's clean and safe. The children are well cared for. Mr. and Mrs. Calvin are kind people. They have already told me that Sarab will be welcome to their home and Rahim Khan, you can be serious. Children are fragile, Amirjan. Kabul is already full of broken children, and I don't want Sarab to become another. Rahim Khan, I don't want to go to Kabul. I can't, I say. Sarab is giving a little boy. He can give him a new life, here, new hope, with people who love him. Thomas Aga is a good man and Betty Kanum is so kind, but you should see how he treats those orphans. Why me? Why can't you pay some here to go? I'll pay for it. It's married money. It's not married money, Amir. Rahim Khan wrote, I'm dying man, and I will not be insulted. I have it has never been about money with me. You know that, and you know, and why you? I think we both. I didn't want to understand that comment, but I did. I didn't understand it all too well. I have a wife in America, a home, a career, and a family in Kabul. It's a dangerous place. You know that, and you find me and risk everything for. I stopped. You know, Rahim Khan said one time when you weren't around, your father and I were talking, and you know how he always worried about you in those days. I remember he said to me, Rahim, a boy who won't stand up himself becomes a man who can't stand up to anything. I wonder, is that what you've become? I dropped my eyes. What I'm asking from you is to grant an old man his dying wish, he had gravely. He had gambled with that comment, played his best card, or so I thought that. His words hung to his limbo between us, but at least he'd known what to say. I was still searching for right words. I was a writer in the room. Finally, I settled for this. Maybe Papa was right. I'm sorry you to think that, Amir. I couldn't talk him and I couldn't look at him. And you don't. If I did, I would not have asked you to come here. I thought I toyed with my wedding ring. You've always thought too highly of me, Rahim Khan, and you've always been far too hard on yourself. He hastened. But there's something you don't know. Please, Rahim Khan. Sanoor Ali wasn't his first wife. Now I looked up. He was married once before to a Hazara woman before the Jagrani area. This was long before you were born. He was married for 3 years. And what does his life to do with anything? She left him chills after 3 years and married a man in Coast. He bore him 3 daughters. That's what I am trying to tell you. I began to see where he was going, but I didn't want to hear the rest of it. I had a good life in California, pretty big touring home with a big roof, a good marriage, a promising writing career, in-laws who loved me. I didn't need any of this shit. Ali was sterile, Rahim can say. No, he wasn't. He and Sanowar and Hassan, didn't they? They had Hassan. No, they didn't, Rahim can say. Yes, they did. No, they didn't, Amir. Then who? I think you know who. I felt like a man sliding down a steep cliff, caught in the sharps of tangles of blamers, and coming up at 200. The room was swooping up and down, saying side to side. Did Hassan know? I said truth beliefs didn't feel like my own. Rahim Khan closed his eyes, shook his head. You bastards! I murdered, stone, you goddamn bastards! I screamed, all of you, you bunch of lying goddamn bastards! Please sit down, Rahim Khan said. How could you hide this from me? From him? Beloved, please think, Amirjan. It was a shameful situation. People would ask. All that man had back then, all there was in honor to him, people talked. We could tell anyone. Surely you had seen that. I reached for me, but I shut his hands, headed from the door. Amirjan, please don't leave. I opened the door and turned to him. Why? What can you possibly say to me? I'm 38 years old and I've found my whole life on a big fucking lie. What do you possibly say to make things better? Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. With that, I stormed. The sun had almost set on the left. The sky shrouded in smolders of purple and red. I walked down the busy narrow street and that led away from Rahim Khan building. The street was a noisy lane in a maze of alleyways, choked with pedestrians, bicyclists, and rickshaws. Billboards hung at its corners, advertising Coca-Cola and cigarettes. Hollywood movie posters display sultry actresses dancing with handsome, brown-skinned men in film marigolds. I walked into the smoky little summer house and ordered a cup of tea. I tilted back in the folded shirt, tears legs, and rubbing my face. That feeling slided forward, following fighting. But it instead, I felt like a man awakes in his own house and finds all the furniture regarded so that every familiar nook and cranny looks for Jane now. Disorientated, he has to reevaluate his surroundings, reorientate himself. How could I have been so blind? His sights had been there for me to see along. They came flying back to me now. Baba hiring Dr. Kumar or fix Hassan Harlip. Baba never missed Hassan's birthday. I remember the day we were playing in tulips. When I had asked Baba if he'd ever consider getting new servants, Hassan not giving anywhere he'd broken, he stayed right here with us. Where he belongs, where he belongs, where he belongs. This is home, and we're his family. He had wept. Wept? When Ali and us, he had an age, and Hassan were leaving us. A waiter placed a teacup on the table before me. where the table's legs crossed like an X. There was a ring of brass balls, each walnut size. One of the balls had come uncrewed. I stopped and ticked at it. I wished I could fix my own life as easy. I looked a gulp in the blackest tea I'd had in years and tried to think in Soraya, of the general and Kala Hamila, of the novel that needed fishing. I tried to watch the traffic bolting by my own street, the people milling and out the little sweet shop. Tried to listen to the quality music playing and the transistor radio at the next table. Anything. But I kept seeing Baba in the night on my great agent, sitting in the fort he'd just given me, selling of beer and saying, I wish Hassan had been with us today. How could he lie to me those years? To Hassan? He had sat to me on his lap when I was little, looked straight to my eyes, and said, there is only one sin, and that is theft. When you tell a lie, you steal someone's right to the truth. Hadn't he said those words to me? And how 15 years after I'd buried him, I was learning Baba had been a thief, and a thief of the worst, kind, because the rings he'd stolen had been sacred from me right now, and I had a brother from Hassan, his identity, his had a brother from Hassan, his identity, and from Ali, his honor, his nang, his namus. The questions kept coming at me. How had Baba brought himself to look Ali in the eye? How had Ali lived in that house, day in and day out, knowing he had been dishonored by his master in the single worst way and again can be dishonored? And how was I going to reconcile this new image of Baba with the only that had been imprinted in my mind for so long, that of him in his old Brown Street, having up the Tarheris driveway to ask Soraya hand? He is another cliche in my creative writing teacher who had scoffed at, like father, like son, but it was true, I wasn't it. As it turned out, Baba and I were most like than I'd ever known. We had both betrayed the people who would have given their lives for us. And with that came his realization that Rahim Khan had summoned me here to atone not just for his sins but for Baba's too. Rahim Khan said, I'd always been too hard on myself, but I wondered, true, I had made at least a step on the landmine, and I hadn't brought the Taliban to the house of Shoot Hassan, but I had driven Hassan and Ali out of the house. Was it too far-fetched to imagine that things might have turned out differently if I hadn't? Maybe Baba would have brought them along to America. Maybe Hassan would have had a home of his own now, a job, a family, a life, a country where no one cared that he was a Hazara, where most people didn't even know what a Hazara was. Maybe not, but maybe so. I can't go to Kabul. I had said to Rahim Khan, I have a wife in America, a home, a career, and a family. But how could I pack up and go back home when my actions have cost Hassan a chance and those very same things? I wish Rahim Khan hadn't called me. I wish he had led me in my own oblivion. But he could call me. He was Rahim Khan rebelled to my changed things, made me see how entire life long